But as we last left off, you all woke up from a nightmare. You were all yelling about what you woke up from, what happened the night before. And then, just then, through the front door to your ward, a man walks in wearing a doctor's coat and stethoscope, and he's holding a clipboard, and he's looking down at it, and he says, "Hello, everybody, how y'all doing?" And you recognize him as Dr. Haverly. Or some of you do, those of you who have had the pleasure of dealing with him. He's the doctor who was assigned to at least two of you, but has been absent for a little while. Supposedly, or allegedly, or maybe actually. It's hard to tell anymore. If you don't remember from last time, some of the operations that were done to you were supposedly signed off by Dr. Haverly, but we'll just see what he has to say about that. He comes into the room and he says, "Hello everyone, good morning. I'm so sorry that I haven't been here in a while. I've been meaning to come, but as you see, I actually contracted the coronavirus, so I needed to be quarantined for 2 weeks. But I'm feeling right as right now. I've had negative tests, everything's going well, so I'm here to double check your work. Your Dr. Clifford Drake, he's the one who checked up on you? Well, I guess I'll have to double check and make sure that he's crossing his T's and dotting his I's. I almost screwed that up. And
crossing his I's and dotting his T's.
He starts to kind of look around the room at all of you, and he goes, "Oh, Wendy!" He notices the bandage on your head, and he's just like, "Wendy, how are you feeling this day?" And he starts to look at your sheet over what's been done to you, and he's making faces where he looks concerned, confused, and then angry.
I would just read those emotions and go, about the same as you're feeling right now.
So this operation you had, Dr. He starts to look at it a bit more. This is concerning. But it looks like they figured it out. You had some sort of growth on your head and they removed it, is what it says?
I think that's a load of shit.
Okay. Well, if that's not good, then we will have to talk about this, Wendy. Okay. Well, let me get back to you. Let me see everybody else first, because this is interesting. He kind of he looks over at everybody else that, like, has problems, which seems to be all of you at this point. He's like,
I'm in a tiny ball on my bed with my eyes closed really tight.
Roberta, you are the other patient of mine. Let's see here. You broke your arm the other day. So, you had, metal put into your hand?
I don't think it was metal. I what?
It says here on your sheet that you broke your arm and that it was so bad that they had to replace some of the bones with metal pieces. Is this incorrect?
Yep. I did not break my arm. I don't have metal in here. I think it's something else.
Oh, we're gonna sound crazy.
That is very concerning. That sounds like a serious allegation, Roberta.
I also think if I broke my arm would be in a sling.
Well, it is in a cast, so...
It's in a cast, but it's not in a sling.
Well, it's not. Maybe he looks a little flabbergasted. Okay.
Science!
Okay, this is... It seems like Dr. Drake has been handling this in ways that I don't think I would. I know it might feel like your hand has something wrong with it, but in all honesty, anybody who usually gets their bones replaced by something new, say metal or
other bones?
She just looks over at you. What?
Doctor, she's got my bones in her bones.
Doctor.
He leans into you, Roberta. Yes.
When did Dr. Drake come to this hospital?
Well, Drake has always been a surgeon at this hospital. I want to say he's been working here for maybe, I want to say 10 years or so now.
Always. How old does he look?
Who, Haverly or Drake?
Drake.
Drake is pretty young, yeah. He's like...
So he doesn't look like he should have been a doctor for the past decade.
No, he's old enough to look like he like that's not a lie. He has been a
Got
doctor
it.
for
Okay.
a decent amount of time. If I'm forgetting the exact details, that is not a
He's
subject
like Gray
of debate.
Fox doctor, not like, is 18.
Yeah. I want to say he's like
That was
maybe
cool.
40, young 40s or late 30s or something like that. But he's been a doctor for a long enough time that he's a doctor for sure. Yeah. Haverly's older. Haverly's maybe like in his 60s or so. These young upstarts, they think they know everything. He's kind of looking at everybody.
Do you see us and that we're all injured in ways that none of us recall being injured?
Do we still have the clipboards?
Ooh.
I 100%
Yeah,
have
you
my
actually do
clipboard.
because you compared them right before you went. You guys like checked out last night. Them. Yes. Oh yes, you.
I might have points. I have bureaucracy. Would that work in something like this situation if I were to use it in like a
I want to say,
diplomatic kind of way?
yeah, I want to say what you just brought up actually works pretty perfect with that skill. Did you want to use a point in it to really hammer it?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you mentioned that like you've seen us, you've seen some of us before, but we now have new horrible symptoms. And he looks at your sheet. He's still not fully convinced that yours couldn't have happened like while he was gone for 2 weeks. But then he looks back over at Wendy, and he knows Wendy really well. Like Wendy is actually like his common doctor whenever she has to visit the local hospital and stuff where Haverly actually works. He's just visiting for backfill at this point. He goes back over to Wendy and he kind of looks at your sheet. He's like, yeah, Wendy, this growth on your head, it concerns me.
Do you want to look at it?
No, I would not undo bandages unless they're
I
absolutely
think
necessary.
you should look at it. I really think you should.
I as a doctor, I strongly recommend that you don't.
I'm just gonna like tuck my fingers into it and just scoop it up.
So it's not open or anything. It's just like a slit. It's just like,
Yeah.
what is? Okay, I'm gonna have a chat with Dr. Drake.
I don't
No.
know if we should have a chat. I think we should leave. Do you have the power to like discharge us or
I-
to move us back to Corona Town? I'd rather have Corona Town than this shit right here. I really think we should just leave.
I'd like to call him over and point out that I have the 2 clipboards, one with Drake's handwriting and then one with also Drake's handwriting but his signature.
He looks over at that. He'll get to you in a second. He looks back at Wendy and he just goes, Wendy, you know that a doctor can't just let a patient leave if they don't look like they're healthy enough to leave yet.
I'm
But
not even asking to leave. Like, just transfer us to another facility or like away, dude.
I'll have to make some arrangements. It like almost kind of refuses to open. Like it's almost like it's stuck shut.
You piece of shit.
And he just
It
kind of
couldn't just be that easy.
he's just kind of like he goes back over to Ed really quick just to kind of make his rounds. He's like, okay. Ed Hayward, is it? Haywood?
Yep.
What it looks like according to your sheet. Oh my.
Yeah. I was shot in the side. There was no growth. There was no issues. I was just shot.
And you
If
said
anything was taken out of me, it should have been a bullet, but it was worse than that.
Well, there is instances of patients coming in for one problem and finding out they have more.
Yeah, I don't believe that. Especially when we have these suspicious clipboards with different names but same handwriting.
He looks at that. This is my name. I signed off on this, but I haven't been here for 2 weeks. I've been in quarantine.
Yep.
I have proof that I've been in quarantine for 2 weeks. This is
But
malpractice.
for some reason you've signed off on all of these random procedures we suddenly magically needed to have.
This is insane. I knew that Drake. That man is. He's all over the place. One minute he's gracious, and next minute he's kind of a monster. Guy is... I always knew that this could be a concern. I need to file some motions against this. I'll make sure nothing bad can ever happen to you guys again, and I will make sure that you get out of here safely, but I need to do this as bureaucratically as possible.
You can't
He starts to leave through the doors. He's like, I will be right back. I need to get something.
I'm gonna tell him to
This is so
stop.
bad.
He doesn't.
Oh.
He's so panicked by everybody's
We
reactions.
just lost our only ally. He go
You
down.
see the doors.
So I just watched
He's
Dave's,
like,
Dave's grin just got wider and wider. It's like, nope.
Roberta and Wendy are doing the same thing. Like, what? No, you're dead. You're fucking dead. You're so dead.
And you hear him say down the hall that he's going to stop by his car really quick.
You should get it. Oh, he's leaving.
Is there a button to call a nurse?
There is, yeah.
I'm hitting it.
Okay. And then, yeah, remember in your room you also have a window that looks out. But,
Just at the
Why
window.
you're specifying
Is-
that, Dave?
Is my can I claim the bed that's next to the window?
sure, yeah.
Sweet, because I just don't want to get up to look out the window, but I really want to look out the window. No, I just want to get out of bed because I'm in pain, but I need to see.
I want to try to follow him to make sure. Like, I'm gonna try to. See
You're
if
going
I
to
can
actually
keep
get up and follow Dr. Haverly?
I'll take my injury
The
to
usual
follow.
health.
The usual suspect.
By the time you're able to get up, because it takes a second because of all the injuries he got now, he's basically run off down the hall. And but Bobby, if you are looking out the window, you see him starting to go to his car, like walking really quickly, and he has like what looks like a folio of sorts on him as he's walking to his car. And
Can you like crack the window?
no, it's a hospital. They wouldn't let
Oh,
people do that.
It's an asylum. They're not gonna let you open
where
the
it's like
windows.
it'll open a little bit, but not like all the way.
Oh, it's one of you could probably
Like a
crack
tilty
it.
one.
Yeah,
you
just
could
like you
probably-
better come back with the fucking Marines.
Yeah.
Marines. And Ed, as you're like getting up, you get out into the hallway, and one of the nurses kind of sees you like hobbling along, probably on a crutch by this point because you got the gut open problem and your bones are all fucked up. But like you get to it and a nurse stops you and there's like, is there anything you need? You could just call us on the nurse's button and stuff like that. But Bobby, as you're looking out the window, you see Dr.
We
Haverly.
crack it open, by the way, and just yell out that, "Hey, come back, you dipshit!"
He can't seem to hear you because it's snowing, like there's a kind of a blizzard going on.
Also,
But
I probably didn't. I
damn it!
probably did. Not very loud because, ow, my tummy.
ow, my tummy. But you see him.
I will take my point of health since I'm pretty sure I got up and I'm not by the window. So
So you're all just watching this as he's silently putting things into his car, and then all of a sudden he looks behind him, and you see from the corner of your vision Dr. Drake starts to walk up to him, and like he looks very friendly and everything, and
no, get in your car.
Dr. Haverly like kind of puts his hands on his hips and he starts talking to him, and Drake is just like, they're talking, they have a bit of a talk, but then Drake kind of takes him by the shoulder and leads him back into the hospital, and that's and then the car is just sitting in the parking lot.
Uh-oh.
What if we could
No.
just get in his car
Oh,
and
Ed, go.
leave? What if we
Go,
could
Ed,
just
go.
leave?
Well, I'm in the hallway, so do I see them come back in?
No, because you're on the second floor hallway. They came in, they're
right.
probably in the lobby somewhere by this point.
Wendy will just look at Roberta and go, I don't really suggest this often. What if we just murdered him?
Why don't we just
Dr.
get into his
Haverly?
car and go?
No, what if we just killed Dr. Drake?
What if we just get in Dr. Haverly's car and we just go?
And we're just gonna abandon Dr. Haverly?
Okay, if I could just a very quick point of order here. I will say, as somebody who is not entirely unaware of the strange, do we want to be concerned about any of the other patients in here, or the fact that there's some very strange occult stuff going on that is now in our bodies?
I think
And we would
should
like to
just-
take that with us and go. We could be walking vessels to summon an elder god, but we're just gonna walk away from this.
Die. We just sit here and die. We just sit. I'm pretty sure I'm dying right now. We're just gonna
We're
sit
not
here.
going. They're not going to kill us. That's what you need to understand. We're not here to die. We're here to do something.
Then
Really
why
quick,
are we here?
We cut back to Ed. The nurse is kind of like trying to tell you to back off to your room. The porter from the day before, the one that's kind of like the hospital's bodyguard, kind of comes up to Ed and he's like, "Hey, buddy, do you need any help? I can help you back to your room if you need. So you don't look like if you need anything, I can get it for you."
No, my doctor just walked out. I need to go get him. I gotta talk to him.
He sounded like he was very busy and had very important work. Why don't I take you back to your ward and I'll get him as soon as he possibly is available.
No, I gotta talk to him now. I'm gonna use-
Come on. He starts to like.
You're about to get howled, my
I
friend.
have a negotiation skill,
Mm.
and I'm going to use negotiation.
All right. Are you going to use a point in it?
Yes, I will use the point in it.
Okay. He just goes, okay. How about I go look for... Who's your doctor?
I want to talk to Dr. Haverly.
Okay, how
He was the one
about...
who we just
Because
saw.
you're, in your state, and it's probably not the best for you to be looking around, or walking around aimlessly, because he seemed like he was busy, and he might not just be in his office. How about I go look for him, and I will tell him to come back to you as soon as possible.
How about I go with you? We go together.
We go
I will
together.
allow that as long as you agree to go in a wheelchair. How does that sound?
Sure.
Okay.
He is about to push you down the stairs.
And he kind of walks off to the nurse's station and opens a closet. He gets you a wheelchair, and he comes back and he parks it in front of you. Now, just because it's been a session in between, remember that this guy was blocking the library at one point. Or not the library, the old ward.
He's super sus.
That was well, it's not, that wasn't suspicious, but what I'm implying is he's not going to be blocking the old ward anymore. He's with it.
Yo, we gotta go now.
Wait. Everybody just shut up for a second. I missed Wait, I missed it. Who left?
The porter is with Ed now because they're now looking for Dr. Haverly together.
Which means that the entrance to
We
the
gotta
old
go.
wing is open.
Yeah.
We gotta go right now.
That might have been an obvious thing had we just continued from last time, but because it's been like 3 days in between, I figured I'd point it out.
I keep thinking
Bless.
there's more porters, but there is only the one.
Yeah,
There's
it's just the
only
one. It's a really small hospital, or it's a decently sized hospital, but there's only enough staff for one of them.
Bobby. What? Take distractions. The nurse is coming here so we can go past him.
What?
What?
Wait,
No.
we should go to the old wing. You're talking about occult shit. You're not gonna let me kill what's his face?
Roberta's like already up and like shuffling out of the room.
Okay, well, I've been up because I was at the window, so I'm shuffling old lady right behind you. Wait, don't leave without me. Bobby will be right back. Unless, Bobby, you want to come with us?
Bobby, you.
Can you
What?
walk? Can you walk?
Well, I don't know. I'm gonna try to get up and try to like walk.
I would say you can walk, but it takes a lot, and you probably should use crutches, but even then it still kind of hurts.
I'm gonna sit on my skateboard and push myself around.
with crutches.
No. I'm gonna sit on my skateboard and push myself around.
I'll put my hands.
With
I'll put my hands on
Wheelchair.
their.
We can.
Oh yeah, we could just get a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Could do
Oh, I
that.
was like, okay, we each take one side, put our hands down, we
That's
pull.
what I was just gonna push him.
Just pull them.
You're thinking
Yep.
with D&D logic. There's simpler solutions in real life.
Why use a wheelchair when we can use a skateboard?
I'm gonna
we need
look.
to use the skateboard.
I'm gonna look around the corner. Are the nurses at the station?
There are, but they seem to be distracted because they're gossiping about the whole Ed situation. That
Oh, see, Ed made a distraction. See,
Perfect.
Ed made a distraction already.
go,
I took my
let's
health
go.
point, by the way.
oh, good, yeah. If you're all getting up, alrighty. So
I do want to clarify. Am I in a wheelchair or am I on my skateboard?
you're
only
probably in a wheelchair just because
makes more
a
okay,
bit
yeah.
more easy to get around.
That's true.
You could probably snake one from a hallway. Because they just kind of put
so
them in the hallways.
boring now.
You want, you can put your skateboard down, put your feet on it, and roll it with you.
No, that's just
We have
quiet.
to
That's
go.
Okay, we're going. We're
The
going.
skateboard is coming, but it's on my lap.
Yep, we're going. We're
Can
gone.
we see Ed as we're going?
Ed's being rolled into an elevator. They turn around so Ed sees you. But the porter is kind of just trying to talk to him, so he's looking down at Ed, trying to reassure Ed that everything's gonna be fine and all that
I'm
stuff.
just gonna slyly like give a thumbs up with my hand in my lap.
I'm gonna do
We'll
like a
never be able to do
really
that
quick,
again.
like as I'm walking, like.
Roberta goes the thumbs up too. Roberta, have you tried to move your hand at all, by the way?
Hell no.
Okay, I was gonna say, if
I'm
you want to
I'm
try,
so
it costs
scared.
a point of health.
No, I'm not moving it. I'm so scared of this thing. I'm like walking with it like away from me. I'm so scared.
Yeah,
of
like
it.
it's some sort of loaded gun or
I don't
something. Just no.
My husband just used the garbage disposal, and I about pissed a little.
I heard it. I heard it.
I was like,
Bad.
oh god.
Okay, all right, focus. We're going.
We're going.
Alrighty, so how about we do? Let's do the you guys first. Big team. I guess there's big team and little team, but big team. So you find yourself back in the lobby. Now I think stealth or sneaking or something is a physical roll. You probably want to use it to get around the nurses in the lobby. So for that, I am going to ask for a roll. You
What
have
is
to,
it?
Is it or something? There's something that's kind
There's
of like it.
infiltration.
No.
There's infiltration.
That's probably it. So you all pass then?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So you basically just make it look like you're supposed to be there. Like you walk through the halls. None of the nurses really call you out or anything like that because they see you going, but they think you're supposed to be doing whatever it is that you're doing, so they have no problem with it.
We're on our designated walking time to ensure our wounds heal.
Wait, what?
Exercise, you know, like when you get your appendix taken
Oh
out.
yeah,
and you
yeah.
can walk around.
I mean, it's not like you guys are like you're not in an asylum and you're also not prisoners. Like you're hospital patients. So like they want to
have
make
my
sure you
bone
get
dice,
better,
so.
which is why they're keeping you in the hospital. But they don't necessarily care what you do if you're inside, as long as you can get help when you need it. So
There's a horse.
Yeah, these people aren't bad.
It's someone else who's
there's
very
one
bad.
person specifically.
Kill him.
There's one we've proven.
Murder.
There's a very fun tense moment where you start to round a corner and then the elevator opens and Ed and the porter are in it, but you've just passed it and they go in the opposite direction. It's almost like a weird heist movie. But you manage to get back down to that hall where you see the door, and there's a sign that you kind of saw before, but you didn't really notice what it said because it's faded and kind of hanging a little bit, but it says Old Wing, and it has an arrow that points to that big door at the end of the hallway.
I think it's really funny that it says Old Wing. Was it Old Wing when it was first built?
Maybe it was named
You know, you got a point. Maybe it says East Wing.
Hey.
Old wing.
Fucking
That
Old
old-
Wing.
I had to fuck with you just a little bit.
Abandoned part. It's always
funny.
been like that.
It was named after one of the founders, Greg Old.
Greg Holt. But yeah, so you guys see the door to that wing.
The old
locked?
wing.
I have to put
It is
funnies in there. I'm panicking.
Surprisingly, not locked.
Was it locked yesterday?
Yeah, there was
Yeah,
just
you
a
don't
big,
know.
big honking porter in front of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Okay,
It's
okay,
one
okay,
of those, I believe, everyone assumed it was locked.
Got
No
it.
one
Great.
actually checked.
It was locked with a person standing in front of it.
With my-
It was
In
locked with
my-
a person.
In my head, I blended the moment of seeing the chain across the front doors, and I moved it in my head over to the
old
wing
wing.
doors.
Yeah.
You're just rearranging this place just like it rearranged itself around us. so-
Listen, we got to make our way up to the master bedroom on the second
Yeah,
floor.
on the second floor. Yep. Right next to room 7. That doesn't exist.
That doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I'm over here going, I get that reference.
I understood.
I understood that.
I opened the door.
Alrighty, so you open the door, and what you notice is a vaguely familiar sight. While the floors are made of wood and kind of old and decrepit, and the walls are kind of falling apart, it doesn't necessarily look as bad as what the nightmares and, the nighttime hospital looked like. But it looks closer. Like it's familiar in a way. So when you open the doors, there's just like a dust everywhere. It's a bit darker because the blizzard outside just makes the natural lighting of the hospital, even though it's daytime, just a bit darker. But it's not so dark that you can't see. Unfortunately, this wing is so old and kind of stripped so badly that like there's not terribly many points of signage to figure out where you're gonna go. So to do what you need to do in this scene, I'm gonna have you roll infiltration again.
Infiltration.
But this time I'm
potion.
not gonna take health from you. I'm just gonna have you roll it to see what happens.
I
That
rolled
makes sense.
a 6.
Ooh.
I took a gamble. I took a gamble and didn't use any points.
That's
and
good.
I rolled a 6.
I did the same thing and I got a 1.
I rolled the one dice that Emma would think. There's one left over, and it's mine.
Hey.
Alrighty.
You are muted.
So
I sure am. I had a lot of commentary about that, and no one heard it.
not a damn person heard it. So you find.
Do I need to roll as well?
I want to say between their two rolls, you guys got what you needed. So what you do find is there's like a door. There's 2 doors off of its hinges. One of them looks extremely familiar and kind of sends a chill down your spine. But the other one, the door is off its hinge, and you can tell it's the library. The one that sends a chill down your spine is it looks so familiar because it is the abandoned operating theater.
I don't like it.
You recognize those doors extremely well. And before we let you do anything, we cut back to Ed. They're going down the hallways. The porter's kind of like looking. He's like, "Are you? I haven't seen sign of Dr. Haverly. We checked where his office should be. They're still setting it up. He's not in there. Maybe he's maybe he just went out to get coffee or something like that. Are you?
Well, he works a lot with Drake, right? Let's stop by there, see if he's in there.
Drake? Okay. And he starts to wheel you to Drake's room. He gets to the entrance to Drake's room and he unlocks it. And then you hear a nurse from down the hall kind of go like, "Oh, we could use your help. Could you?" And then the porter's just like, "Okay, stay right here, Ed." He just kind of walks off and leaves you alone.
Love that everybody's giving us all these opportunities.
He already unlocked the door?
This is a bad hospital. Wait, what?
He already unlocked the door?
Yeah, even better, he left his keys in the slot.
Well, clearly I'm taking the keys and walking in.
Okay. So, we've technically been in Dr. Drake's office before. It's, he has the desk. He has, the glass tank full of, at first glance, it looks like dirt. You weren't there technically last time, so to you, it still is dirt. But, meta knowledge, we figured out it's just a bunch of dead bugs and maggots. There's a bookshelf, and all of his credentials are on the wall. You also notice, I guess maybe you might notice a bit more that, like, next to his all credentials, he has, like, all these old knickknacks and stuff from, like, bygone hospital era stuff. And one of them is, like, this kind of weird, like, it's plastered on the wall. It kind of looks like a gun with a bunch of needles sticking out of the front of it and a crank on the side. And you recognize it from seeing it in some movie or something before, but it's just the super outdated thing that they used to sew people up or something. But yeah, so you're in Dr. Drake's office.
Okay, I'm gonna look for anything that's more... Well, you know what? I'm gonna look at some of the old equipment.
The old equipment, none of it's usable. All of it's mostly props. None of it's like authentic or anything like that.
None of it looks like the stuff I saw while I was being cut.
Oh, some of it does. Like the weird looking needle gun that if you read the plaque on it, it says phlebotomizer. That looks a little bit like like he turned into a handheld version of it to make it into like a needle hand thing that he sewed you up with. You have like a brief, quick thing of like like into your gun, and you're like, oh yeah, okay.
Flash.
But yeah, none of it is like usable or anything like that. It's all just like Like, you wouldn't be able to take the phlebotomizer off the wall and use it as a weapon is basically what I'm suggesting, and probably what you wanted to do.
I mean, it crossed my mind, but it was more...
More just wondering if you used it.
Getting the link.
There is inspiration for sure.
All right, and then I'm going to look around to see if there's the mask or anything that I saw him wearing.
So you're looking around for something like that, and you notice that one of his desk drawers is open, which is a spot that nobody had really investigated before. When you're looking in his desk, you notice that, like, it catches your eye because you're specifically looking for something like that. There's, like, a notepad inside of it, and on the inside of the notepad, or when you just, like, brief shot, it looks like there's a doodle. And when you open the drawer completely, on the front of this notepad, there's, like, a doodle of, like, a bird. It gives you another quick flashback of this horrible, like...
I mean, this is... Just because we're in modern age, I have a camera phone, right?
Yeah, well, I would say you do.
Okay, I'm going to take photos of the doodle and the phlebotomizer.
And, do you have, science?
I have social science.
Not the same, the cool science.
I do. I also have law and trivia, if that helps.
That won't work. However, you do find when you like go to take a picture of it, you notice that the notepad is laying on something. It's laying on what looks like X-rays, a folder labeled X-rays.
Well, then I'm gonna keep snooping.
Go snoop some more. You find it says that they're X-rays of some of the patient's hands, and it said D. Davids and Jared Links on it. But you don't really understand what it means. To you, it just looks like any old X-ray.
I just, as a former cop, I'm taking photos of it all.
Yep, that's snooping. You're snooping. That guy's really snooping.